Welcome back to our channel. As you see, today we have some topics on the issue of the Naira and what some people are saying about this whole thing. You see, my brothers and sisters and fellow countrymen and women and friends of, I would say, the country at large. This whole thing is getting out of hand because unlike before, we used to have somebody to blame. Because when Jonathan was there, we used to blame Jonathan. When Obasanjo was there, blame Obasanjo. When Yaradua was there, blame Yaradua. Even when Abacha was there, blame Abacha. When anything goes wrong, at the top of you know of or the hems of affair. But this time around, if anything happened, nobody seems to want to blame Buhari. Everybody is pointing the fingers at the wrong directions. Take for example, who is the petroleum minister of Nigeria? Nigerians has been dying, queuing up for ordinary fuel that they have in abundance in their own country. And the petroleum minister has to be the head of state, or would I call him a president? I don't know, because I still see him like a dictator. Because I think he still came back this time around in what do you call it, in Agbada, but with a military mind or mindset. So he's still behaving like he's still a dictator and not like a Democrat, because he don't really believe that people actually put him there to serve their purpose. He's there to serve his own purpose and to butter his ego, oil his ego throughout the whole time. For 7 years, you can hardly see a politician boldly come out and blame Buhari to his face and tell him what he's doing wrong. Rather, they will blame somebody else. When it was the time of the what do you call it, the NBC, if you still remember, and the internet ban, they were rather blaming the minister and not Buhari. So what about the petroleum and the fuel scarcity? Who do you blame? It's not the petroleum minister, even if you don't want to blame Buhari. And now, the petroleum minister happens to be Buhari himself. A man with so many portfolios, but can hardly carry one. You see? That is the problem. It's either one portfolio is dragging him down to the other side, while the other one is dragging that. So there's no balance. But he just wants to add these things to his own, to his own portfolio or baggage, to be called the petroleum minister at the same time as, and as a city president or head of state and the leader of the party, APC. Only one man. It's neither here nor there. So the issue now is that the Naira issue has come again. Does it take a rocket scientist to know what you are supposed to do? If, for example, you have to take care of your family and you are going on holiday, you have money, and you want to change that money, for example, Naira, to CFA, franc, before you leave your country, because you know that in the other country where you are going to, that your money will not be valid there. Let's say, for example, Naira will not be valid in any of those CFA countries. What do? Do you leave your Naira at home and you go to that country and start to beg? Or you change your money first before you go? In this case, new Naira note. Who is printing the Naira note? I think they are contracting it to their friends somewhere to recolor it, spray it, and give it their own watermark, whatever they deem fit, or put their own photos and pictures of their girlfriends on it. Then they sell it back to the country. Whether they hide the pictures inside the Naira or not, we don't even know. But what we do know is that anytime Buhari comes to power, Buhari always wants to print money. He always wants to change money. He did it in 94, 95, and now he's doing it again. He always find a way to stifle the people, the country. It's like putting a rope on the neck of the citizenry. I try to strangle them. And, he wants to see how much you can really take or actually take before you break your neck or before you snap. And the funniest thing is that there's nobody coming out to even demonstrate. That is the most funniest thing. I don't know whichever thing that this man is using or his Marabas are using, to tie the people down with some magic, whatever, thread or what have you, or rope and things that twine. It's so funny. I still remember, just like yesterday, when President Jonathan, tried to, come up with the idea of, during his own time by the idea of a petroleum subsidy. That was a Dizani Madweke, the then petroleum minister. All hell broke loose. And do you still remember who these people were at the forefront of that demonstration? Tinubu was one of them. Atiku was one of them. In fact, Buhari was one of them. And who again? This man, what they call him, Falana. The so-called human rights lawyer. All the so-called eminent Nigerians then, where are they now? Some of them are the same people that enthroned this hardship on Nigeria now in the name of Buhari. And now you will see them running away from the, from the truth and not wanting to take any blame. Rather, they are pointing fingers back at one man. Oh, the CBN governor is the problem, not Buhari. Buhari was deceived. Hear for yourself. What does Oshomonle have to say about this?
Hello everyone, welcome. This is the 2023 verdict live on Channels Television. I'm Sean Wakimbaloye in Abuja. Channels Television election program, which took off on the 1st of February, has been taking over your usual daily and Sunday political programs, Politics Today and Sunday Politics. And now, before we get into the program tonight, let's also remind you that the countdown, we are not keeping our eyes off it. It's 19 days to the 2023 elections. The Nigerians are anticipating the opportunity to elect their leaders in February this year. So get your PVC, everyone. I guess you have about only today left to do that. And keep your PVC and get it on election day and make your votes count. This program is interactive and we want to get your views on the topics we have for discussion. So tweet to us and on the President Muhammadu Buhari showed up for Bola Tinubu, the presidential candidate of the APC in Nasarawa State, where he told supporters of the APC that he will continue to campaign for Tinubu as the next president of Nigeria.
I will continue to campaign for Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
The APC presidential candidate salutes the courage of President Buhari for offering a leadership that will rescue the nation from all its challenges.
So, ladies and gentlemen, the issue here is not about all these political jargons that I want to talk about here. I want to address the issue of the people who brought in Buhari, who forced Buhari on the nation, and these people are the same people who today are trying to wrestle power by all means. So I think we don't have to give them any chance. That is just my own take on that, first of all, because they say one beating is twice shy. So Oshomonle issue is really touching because of what he has to say. So we still have to touch it right now.
To get perspectives. And tonight, I'm being joined by a former governor of Edo State and the Deputy Director General of the APC in charge of operations. And of course, he's running in the election also as well in his senatorial district on the platform of the APC. He's the past national chairman of the APC. Comrade Adams Oshomonle joins me here in our Abuja studio. Thank you so much for joining us in our election studio. This is your first time in this studio.
Again, still, thank you for having me and congratulations for a very beautiful studio.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Let's get it started. A lot has happened in your party recently, which we've been hearing a lot of the leaders speak about. Some of these has brought up a lot of issues, big ones, big question mark on the internal health of the APC. And it's shown these internal wranglings and it's very vivid. How would you describe the situation now?
To be honest, I don't know specifically what you are referring to. Because as far as I'm concerned, and to the best of my knowledge, APC is very heavy. We have internal cohesion. We have all our senior party leaders working together, from the president to all the 22 or 23 governors elected on APC platform, to all our senators, all the members of House of Rep, whether those who lost primaries and those who won. We are all working together, and we are on record as having the opportunity of hosting people who didn't win the primaries and who, in spite of that, are actively participating in the campaign. So when you say there is internal problem, some hate within the APC, you need to explain, please.
Did you watch the interview of Governor El-Rufai on channels?
Oh, yes, I did.
So does that give you any inclination as to perhaps the ongoings in your party?
I think what El-Rufai was talking about is not so much about our party. I mean, if you dissect it and you problematize and interrogate the essence of what he was saying, what I understand is that El-Rufai, rightly, like all Nigerians, wondered why and who is responsible for scarcity of PMS and other petroleum products. Of course, truth be told, it is not the first time we're having it, but it appears to be far more severe this time and almost totally nationwide. And the consequences is such that even myself, my humble self seated here, I have been campaigning in villages and wards and communities across Edo State. And in one location, I ran out of fuel and I had to pay 8,000 naira for a liter. Now, that is not funny. Somebody is responsible for that. And as we speak, we are spending almost 7 trillion naira. The Minister of Finance speaks to the fact that we are spending about 7 trillion naira for subsidy. And yet, most Nigerians found themselves paying much more than what the market rate will be. And yet you have petroleum equalization fund. So people are responsible for this. Now, if we thought, okay, this is not unusual that we have fuel scarcity, even from the days of the military, all the way to Obasanjo's government, to Yaradua, to Jonathan. So we can say this has become a perennial problem, but that doesn't make it acceptable. The second is what is obviously not a coincidence: the decision of the CBN to change the colors of the currency, of some of the currency, or so-called currency redesign. And again, that is not new. UK, I was there a couple of months back, and they have a new currency, new 20 pounds note, 50 pounds note, and it takes them about a year and a half, not only to sensitize the people, in the course of, doing businesses, they retrieve the old ones and introduce the new one. But then suddenly CBN woke up to say that they resigned the currency. There was no consultation. not even within government. At least the Minister of Finance cried out and he warned that there could be consequences, economic consequences, arising from this decision. And in one of the interviews I had with, I believe it was Arise Television, I said the least people should talk about in matters like this is not just the fact that you have acted within the law. You have the legal power, legally, to do certain things. But we are taught in basic leadership that whoever have power should pray for wisdom. And with wisdom, you will recognize that a population of 200 million people, you can't change policy overnight, like you change from a generator to NEPA and vice versa.
They say this man is just beating around the bush. The issue has been addressed as far as I'm concerned, because the issue here is actually about the PMS, which is the fuel, where Buhari came and plays his own role as a petroleum minister. Then the other issue is the CBN issue. So the CBN is not acting alone, So the thing is that Buhari has done this before without this same CBN governor. He did it before with another CBN governor. So, but then it was also the same thing. Given a very short notice, for possible mopping of the naira out of circulation. These things are done, in a very systematic way that it doesn't affect the economy itself, because now the economy has suffered a lot. The money that Nigerians has lost over time cannot be recouped, let's say within another year or so. So what a way to start the year. You understand? What a way. Students, people are dying in the hospitals just because of this. Women and children, and you name it. Businesses are suffering also for this tenfold. And now these people, they are so shameless that they can still come on the air and still speak without expecting anything from the populace. This thing cannot happen anywhere else except in Nigeria. That is why it's happening in Nigeria. It's a pity that this thing should be happening at this time. And yet, they said election is coming up, and you want the people to go and get their PVCs from where? And how do they get to the PVC centers? When you look at that country, the way the country is built on mode, then it's very, very difficult sometimes in some cities to move from one location to another on foot. You literally need either a motorcycle or a car, a vehicle. You can't walk. Can you walk from Maitu to Badagry, for example? How long will it take if you live in Lagos? Just for example. Or if you live in whatever city, just name it. There are few cities where you can actually walk a distance of let's say 5 kilometers without any hindrance. The only way that people use to move around is through vehicles or through some Okadas or what have you, Keke Napep and the rest. These people just come here and start talking. Even in Abuja, you can't even walk. Where can you walk? How long will it take you to walk from, let's say, for example, Kado Market to even Maraba or whatever? How? It's not like Europe where they have what do you call it, bicycle lanes, etc., where the poor man can just take his bicycle and just drive his bicycle or just walk on some pathway and get to where he's going to his destination, whether it's taking 1 hour or 2 hours or anything like that. No. Everything is just they just want to put this, they are perpetrating evil on the people, suffering, and they don't really. That's the worst thing, is that they are even shameless, and they don't feel the pain of the common man. They don't see it as anything. It's just one of those things. Like, oh, you get used to it, they don't really care, and yet they will still expect you to come out on that day to come and vote. How do you come out to vote? How do you move around? People, do something before something do you. These people have to go. And once they go, make sure you get the right person there so that this thing will not keep repeating itself over and over again. And stop wishing. Wishing doesn't bring anything. You have to make things happen before it can happen.